gotta get a few things together here real quick. Gotta get a few things and maybe mute myself. Oop, there we go. All right, that should work. Yeah, give me just a few seconds. I gotta make sure I have everything I need beside me because this is gonna be a fun one. Hold on, let's holler at some folks. Hey, welcome early joiner. So I'm just making sure I have everything together. I'm actually planning on showing off a few cases, housings, things like that for HHKBs. I know there's been a lot of questions on what fits what, so yeah, give me just a second. Make sure I want to make sure. I think I have everything together. Yeah, this looks about right. So yeah, let's get that out of the way for now. We'll get that in a minute. I'll start at the beginning. Why not? Alright, so I know lately on some of the Discords there's been a lot of questions about bags and fitment issues and what goes into what. Yeah, it really does look like a money bag. I like this one a lot. Yeah, let me get the camera going real quick. Alright, so yeah, this is an old one. I actually just got this one from Japan recently. This was the original HHKB sleeve or bag, and so it's still got kind of the cutesy little happy hacking logo. So I figured I'd throw the Pro one in that one. But if you look at the size, it's not the most. I mean, this is their first. This was their first bag, so it's the usual this stuff here. It's not super thick. Doesn't have a lot of rigidity to it either, but just for keeping a keyboard from getting too bashed up, it's nice. You do kind of have to finagle it a little bit around the zippers. I mean, unless I guess you can go that way and not have to mess with it so much. But yeah, that was their first bag, and it's it's cute. But otherwise, I don't know. I probably wouldn't really use it in day-to-day use, other than just keeping a keyboard on the shelf from getting too banged up. Yeah, I'm gonna kind of go over a couple bags, and then the plan is to maybe take some of the weird off-size keyboards and see what bags they may actually fit in, so that if you'll have aftermarket stuff, then maybe we can rule some things out here or there. And before I get too far, I do want to give a little demo for why I like these smaller bags, because this right here is a bag that I carry around with me. I do a lot of bicycling, and because I'm just like a big old nerd, I also tend to carry a keyboard with me. So get that mouse out of the way. I don't need that right now. So yeah, so this is this is my main travel kit, and I'll just open up the main bag. I've got my headphones, got my little nerdy emulator, got my tablet, got the HHKB branded keyboard stand, got my little battery pack in there. But behind all that, or under all that, I guess I could say, is my ideal keyboard travel setup, the HHKB hybrid in the gun sock. And so this is, I've talked about these. Well, yeah, I'll get to the rest of the. Yeah, that bag has definitely seen some days. I've taken some spills on it. But yeah, so these are probably my favorite. Just like easy, cheap. I mean, you can get these for probably like $10. I think maybe even cheaper depending on who you go with. And it's just a handgun sock. And so, oh yeah, that was the other thing I was gonna do. I was gonna get a ruler out real quick, because I want to kind of take a look at some of this stuff, maybe take some measurements here and there, figure out like what these actually are. Man, my ruler again has also seen some better days. Let's try to straighten that out a little bit. There we go. So yeah, this has been my go-to carry setup for a while, and you know, I'll take my HHKB using the US released kind of, you know, fitted to the blockers dust cap, throw that over, and you know, not all of them have the pad, but you know, it doesn't really seem to make any difference with fitment. But yeah, like this thing in a bag has sustained multiple, you know, collisions with cars. I mean, I've taken my own spills being a klutz. Like it does a pretty good job of protecting. Now it does leave the end open there, but I mean, you know, just be cognizant of that when you're putting it in your bag. You know, try to keep that from being downward when you're placing it. But I mean, it's pretty solid. And just want to take, you know, quick measurements on this. So this thing is about what, just under 14 inches, so 13.35. And I started a little spreadsheet here, so I was gonna take some measurements there. So what's that, 14.75 roundabouts, and then just for the height is 5 1/4. And I won't really say this one has any depth because it's just the sock. But yeah, so that's, I mean, I know I've talked about it a lot and I've probably shown pictures, but this is how I get around through the day when I'm cycling around town. And I mean, I keep, you know, and like I said, cycling, I'm a bike guy, so I do a lot of riding. And, you know, this is about as heavy and big of a bag as I want to go for, like, you know, carrying shit around all day. But yeah, I mean, it works great, and it's, you know, beyond the, you know, all the nerd shit in there, I also have, like, you know, I've got another little bag in a bag that keep all my bike tools and all my gear and my little, you know, critical mass flyers that I stick around town and shit. So, yeah, I've been, I mean, I got a plug in there, got cables, got a pair of chopsticks, paring knife, just because you never know when you're at a friend's house and, you know, have to deal with some shitty, you know, shitty knives. Hey, what's up, Shiwa? Just going through, kind of showing off my, my everyday, you know, carry ride around Austin bag, and why I, you know, to explain a little bit of why I really like those gun socks and, like, smaller, though durable HHKB cases. Yeah, I mean, it works. It gets me there, you know. But I really wanted to kind of get into, I've got a bunch of, gently set that over there. I've got a bunch of other bags out that I just kind of wanted to go through. So, you know, I started off with the OG Happy Hacking bag, and while I got this out, I might as well take some measurements on that. So that's what, 12.5 inches by 6 and about 6 3/4. That's the OG HHKB. And I don't know if PFU made that or who made that, but yeah, that's I don't know, that's a cute one. So the next one that I was aware of, and these are the ones from Bird, and I really like these. So I've got 2 of them out just to kind of, you know, these are super cool. And they're a little bulkier. They're definitely not like the kind of thing that I would want to put in another bag, but just like as its own thing to carry around, it's not bad. And again, they got a little bit of happy hacking. I don't know if I can even show that with my stupid light setup, but yeah, a little happy hacking branding on there, and kind of a newer font. And these were definitely out when the Pro 2 was around, because I bought several of these when I was, you know, first started kind of, you know, getting into my HHKB collecting. But these are pretty nice, and I actually, I like that there's enough room in these that most of my keyboards that I carry in them, I'll actually then put in a gun sock and have a, you know, have a dust cover on it. So, you know, in this instance, I think this is a JP, and I've got the Mitsuba rest on there, so that it really has good, you know, yeah, that's one of the Snow White JP layout, but it's got great great roominess in the main compartment for keyboards, and it's I mean it's not, you know, it's not a sturdy bag. Hey, what's up, Kosef? Yeah, I mean, I figured, what a great idea, great to see it. So yeah, I figured that this was, a lot of people have been asking a lot of questions about what bags are compatible with what. So I figured I would get a bunch of, you know, get the different bags, both, you know, the ones from PFU and Bird and Fujitsu, as well as some of the aftermarket bags, and just kind of go over and, like, you know, take some measurements, get it in a little Google Doc or something, and then, you know, we can take some different, you know, boards, different dust covers, and do a little bit of fitment testing with the ones that are, you know, most promising, and, you know, kind of, I don't want to say guarantee, but, you know, get a little better idea of, like, will my heavy Grail fit in this? Will my, you know, Neverest fit in this? Which, spoiler, if your HHKB will fit in it, your Neverest 60 will fit in it, because that's like the one aftermarket case that has managed to, you know, build itself within the dimensional confines of a true HHKB. But yeah, so back to these. Like, these are the, you know, one of the earlier Bird ones. And another thing I really like about these are, you've got this little extra front pouch, which you can see I'm kind of bulged on these. I keep a lot of crap in these, and, you know, when I'm just like traveling around, these are a dope little day, you know, day travel. I mean, I kept, you know, and these are, you know, got my little Rama stees in there, but, like, you know, you gotta, you know, whenever you need to have a Lindy cable around, you get some pins or some papers, stuff. Like, it's a great, you know, it's great for being able to keep your other stuff. And in fact, if you have one of the wrist rests will fit in there, so you could, like, you know, that'd be a great little take down to the coffee shop and look super nerdy with your, you know, your keyboard and your wrist rests and all your gear out. But yeah, here's another one of these, and this is why I wanted to kind of bring out two, is I wanted to show that, like, you know, here's, again, a Live Oak with my Mitsuba rest, and so these will fit, you know, aftermarket if you've got a little bit more of a bezel. Now, they won't fit a heavy Grail. I don't think they'll fit an S60. I think I've got a Snipe out, so we may try later with, like, the Snipe and the, you know, some of the other stuff. But yeah, this is my Live Oak, and it fits perfectly. And I mean, you can see, you know, when I put that in, you can kind of see the pink above and below, and that's kind of how much this case exceeds the, you know, the horizontal and vertical dimensions of an HHKB. And there's, you know, there's plenty of room in that bag that's not at all an issue. So it's a really good bag for, you know, a lot of, you know, if you've got an HHKB and want to carry. And again, you know, actually, I don't have the little guy in here because I've been using it on my desk lately. But yeah, this is, you know, I'm sorry for the dust, while we're showing off accessories, you know, I mean, it's, I'm sure other companies have rebranded this exact same tablet stand, but it's sturdy enough. It works with my Lenovo tablet, and, you know, again, it's got little HHKB shit on there, so it's cute. And, you know, that'll oftentimes go in here. So again, you know, got my pin, got my Lindy cable, got one of the tiny, you know, little MX Go Anywhere mice, which it's, you know, it's close but not quite. It's a little bit of a cooler gray and not quite a white enough to match the other HHKBs, but just for a travel mouse, it's pretty cool. So yeah, I really, really like these cases, and I'm gonna, yeah, actually I'm gonna pull the stuff out of this top part, because I do want to kind of measure it when it's full, but I don't want to, like, go heavy overboard, so let's just get that crap out of here for now. And yeah, so these run full, they're about, what's that, 12, yeah, just a little under 12 and a half, so we'll call it 12 and a half. And that's made by Bird, and that is, what I say, 12.5, and the height on these is right about 6 inches. So it's a 6, And I will measure the depth on this one just because. And yeah, so about 3.5, I'd say. All right. And those are, I mean, if I'm not putting it in a bag, these are probably my favorite, you know, and I said that they weren't like rigid, but I actually take that back, because if you feel the back, there is like rigidity to that. So it's got a little bit of like, you know, added protection beyond just like a sleeve or something. So that's, and you know, the sides again have a little bit of padding in there, not a lot, but yeah, they're decent. And I apologize, you're probably going to see a lot of cat hair. That's because I got cats, and they do that. So yeah, let me set those aside, and maybe we can look at some of this other stuff, because there's, you know, there's a lot of cool ones out there. And honestly, I will say, currently, I kind of give the ones from Bird and the ones from the Japanese store an edge over the U.S. ones, but I mean they're all still pretty good. So let me go to the next one. So this is another one, also in the Pro 2 era, and again from Bird Electron. And this one is kind of cool. This one has, you know, this one definitely has some rigidity to it. Now it's not fully rigid, so I mean, if you place stuff on it, it can definitely like compress and press down on keycaps. But it's a decent one. So let me go ahead and open this one up. And this one I actually keep my, you know, the Pro 2 with the high pros in here, because it does have enough height to fully clear those keys, and with the rigidity of it, I mean, it keeps, you know, the case does not press down on it. So that's kind of a nice feature of this. Now it does have this weird, it's got these little Velcro guys here. And they kind of, I think when they released it, they showed pictures of them like using the Velcro. Here, let me pull this guy out. So using the Velcro to attach here, and then setting their keyboard here and putting a tablet here. In practice, it is super uncomfortable. It is not worth trying that, so I don't really recommend using this thing as that, you know, makeshift tablet stand. And just get a better case for your tablet that freestands, because yeah, it's not. I get what they were kind of going for with this little setup, but in reality, it's pretty chintzy, so I wouldn't bother. But yeah, I mean, as far as fit on this, it's pretty close. It's not, you know, it doesn't give you a lot of extra room. Now it does, you know, and pushing it forward, you could like either fit a cable in here, or like, you know, if you had a hybrid, you know, you can still fit a hybrid in and fully close it, and that's not a problem. So it'll fit any of the OEM boards, but like with the width of it and such, like I probably wouldn't go too big as far as putting other stuff in there. And it does, you know, it works with like, you know, clearing key cup. So here again, these are MT3, and it doesn't, you know, it doesn't contact the caps at all. So like, you could keep your, you know, your high pros, your MT3s, your whatever in one of these, and it's a pretty solid case. I don't think they still sell these. I don't recall. I think they kind of replaced them with these like white and kind of beige leather ones. But it's still, you know, if you can find one of these, it's a nice thing. It doesn't have any kind of handles on it, so, you know, again, this is not like something you carry, but yeah, it's a very, I mean, Bird puts thought into their parts. Now, they kind of misstep sometimes and don't build it as nice as I would like, but like I see where they're trying to go with it. So let's take a look at this one here. This is just over 12.25. And I wish, yeah, I need to get a metric ruler, because doing this in inches measurements is really crummy. I mean, I hate inches. I hate fucking imperial. Alright, by... what is that? 6 and... see, that's, yeah, I don't, like, do I want to say, like... 6 and 11/16? Like, that's such a stupid measurement. So we want 6 3/4. And the depth at its max is 2 1/8. So what, 2.125. Alright. And that is a Bird. Bird hard case zipper, made by Bird. Cool. Alright. Hey, what's up, Nine? Then I go. I am going over cases. So there's been a lot of like folks asking questions about, and I say a lot of them. I've gotten a couple DMs and some people in like modifications and help and stuff have posted, but a lot of people kind of talking about the various cases for HHKBs, what fits what's compatible. So I'm doing just a quick happy Sopra Saturday. I'm doing a quick rundown of kind of the different cases that they've released, both well, I say both, but like PFU, Bird, the US made ones, which I'm really not sure who makes those yet, but also some aftermarket stuff. So, I do have like the cold top sleeve out. I've got a couple other this and that, and yeah. So we're just going over them. But right now I'm going over the OEM ones first, or from the makers, and then we'll get into some of the weirder stuff. One of the most recent ones, and this is another Japanese release from Bird, and this is the one that's brought up a lot of questions, is this little guy. And this guy is like, again, soft, kind of like that first one that I showed off. And it's here, and I got a, what's that? That's a Pro BT. That was the original HHKB that made me fall in love with HHKBs. I actually gave it to a friend and then traded in a keyboard to get it back because I missed it so much. Even though it's it certainly has its shortcomings. This is the keyboard that I won't say started it all, because I had a Pro 2 before it, but its Bluetooth ability and carrying it around and like improvements to the case design, like the feet. I mean, this is the one that really like got me from looking at it as an oddity to like this is an essential part of my like daily routine. But yeah, so this case. This is, again, a much smaller one, probably more designed for, like, carrying it in something else. So, like, this would be a sleeve you'd throw your shit in if you threw your stuff in a backpack or whatever. And it's, it's thin. It has no real... Come on, camera. Has no real rigidity to it. But it's good for, like, protecting from bumps and scrapes. And, again, if you're, like, going to school or going to work and throw it in your backpack or throw it in your like messenger bag or whatever, it'll keep it from getting too banged up. And like size wise, I threw this one in here earlier to kind of like illustrate a point, because this one is wider dimensions than an HHKB hybrid, and I used the dust cover on it and it still fits pretty good. So like here's it, just sliding all the way in, and with that I can completely close the Velcro, and that fits pretty good. Now I believe Batter was looking at had just picked one of these up, and he was having the issues with the Mitsuba rest. So I was gonna pull out, if I can remember which of these bags has the board with the Mitsuba rest in it. I was gonna pull that out and throw one over and just kind of play around with that, because it's a tight fit. It's not a and I'll show you what I'm experiencing with it. Alright, now I'm starting to go loco here, because I literally just had a keyboard in hand, and then I moved, and it's gone. Where did I put that thing? Oh, here it is. Yeah, so... Alright. So, I mean, you look at the kind of the height of it there. You add the height of... And this is one of the Japanese... this is the Bird released one, which I'll show you... I can actually show you why I don't like it right now. See that wiggle right there? That is because they come with these little rubber like standoffs that plug into a hole that has been made in the whatever this material is, and as you can see, that one's missing and that one's missing, because there's no like adhesive or anything. They're just stuck in there, and if they pop out and come out, they're clear, they're tiny, and they disappear. So unfortunately I've lost a lot of those over the years. I've got several of these, and most of them do not have at least one of their little bump-ons for that reason. But yeah, so it adds a little bit of height, but not much. It hews pretty close to the caps. Now the Mitsuba rest, that one obviously adds a little bit more heft to it. I mean, that's just because of the the thickness of the material and everything here. So it's not it's not quite as close, and so if you consider, I mean, that's a pretty big gap there. So same thing with this. I started on the narrow end. Now when it slides in, it does start to bind. So it does get, get tight right about here at this thick part. But I mean, it still goes in fine. And again, it closes. Now it does leave about a, 1/4 inch of the Velcro exposed. And I could take it if I wanted to and like cinch it down. But it's not, I don't think it's necessary. And I think it still is like, perfectly protective. Now I have to look at the other one that was getting posted to see if maybe there's any difference there. But I mean, I think that's for what I would use it for sticking it in my backpack, like even with the Mitsuba rest. I mean, I feel like that gives me a little bit of ding protection. So it's not a bad bag. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the Mitsuba rest off here because I do want to take kind of like the 3 measurements that I'm doing real quick, but I don't want that to and yeah, that's definitely like, I mean, yeah, it leaves marks on the case. I'm not a huge fan of those dust covers, unless you are more meticulous than me and can avoid losing those little foot things. It's just I'm not great about that. Alright, so this one is like 12 inches on the nose. So let me, what do we call this? And so this one, I think, is this also from Bird? Or is it PFU? I don't remember. Call this the floppy Velcro new case, because I don't know what they call it on the side. I'll have to look it up. So yeah, so that's a solid 12 inches right there. Dang, again, pretty close, like 5 inches tall. And the depth of it with a board with the just the regular, rest is right around 2 inches. So that one actually has I mean, it's a crappy ruler, but that's pretty round measurements there. So that's good to know. That's definitely one of the smaller ones that we've encountered so far. So let's keep moving on and looking, because I've got a couple more from the official vendors. And then we can look at the new ones from the US store. So, this is another one from Japan that I got recently. And I actually like this one because well, I'll show you in a second. So, again, it's not the heftiest material. But it's, it's still got some padding in here. It, fits the board well. This is just your standard hybrid board here. And this does, again, have the US style dust cover, because that's my personal preference. It really keeps it from sliding around. It doesn't have the feet. Now it does, like, over time, if it's in something where it's moving a lot, I found that it can kind of like start leaving an abrasion here where it wears away some of the texture and you get a little bit of a shine on the case, because I mean they are ABS, so they'll shine. In fact, you can kind of see, well, a little bit, yeah, that corner right there is from from the thing kind of rubbing on it. So it's it's something to be aware of. You could probably put some kind of something around the corner of it to keep it from doing so, but yeah, just something to be aware of. But this case, it's nice. It's a little bit longer than the HHKB, which actually is kind of cool, because if you like running your stuff connected, you've got a little bit of headroom there. You can just throw like your Lindy cable or throw a whatever cable you happen to use. And I will hawk these things, man. These Bird cables, like, for real, y'all, simplify your life. If you've not yet simplified your life, get on the JP store, get you one of these cables. These things are dope. And I've got them in, both the white and black. But then just these little shorties with the, the angle. They fit like bang. They plug into your little laptop guy. And then you're like happy hacking like a pro, not screwing with Bluetooth. Like, these things are amazing. And also most of my USB-C tablets, like, I can just plug into the tablet. So even if I'm not using one of my Bluetooth boards, like, it gives me the ability to connect my shit. Like, it's a cool little cable, and it is so tiny. Like, I keep these in the little baggies with the stands, and I've got them tucked away in like little corners with my HHKBs, because they're great little cables. And I mean, you can get them. I'm sure if you've been on my stream the last few days, you've seen me bust this one out, because it's been what I've been plugging into everything with. But they also make them in black. They got the little Bird logo. Like, yeah, shout out to this cable. I freaking love these things. In fact, if you're at the next Texas, or not Texas, but if you're at the next Austin mini meet, I plan to give one away as a raffle prize because they're just badass. So yeah, show up and maybe you can get one without having to go through a proxy. But yeah, the dimensions on the bag, you know, it's nice, but it's not too like overwhelming. You can still stick this in your backpack. It is a little, I wouldn't put it in my sling bag just because I really do need to like go with the absolute minimum space, but it's not too hefty. And it does have, you know, if you've got like some other little crap you want to throw in, it's got a little sleeve right here, but it's not as like, you know, tented as the one on the other case, so you really can't be throwing as much crap in there. But yeah, let's take this one's probably going to be one of our longer ones. This is like 13.75 inches, so this is the and that's what did I say, 13.75 by about what do I want to call that? About 6 or 5 3/4. By 2 inches. And yeah, I figure 2 inches is going to be a pretty common height measurement for these bags that don't add too much heft to them, because, you know, that's not too much taller than the actual HHKB itself. So I think I've got one more Japanese bag, and these things are kind of cool, and they are pricey. Like, the price on these it's a little excessive, but it's cool, and I like these. So, like, you know, they got these little magnet capture things here, and I don't run this one with a dust cover because it just fits so perfectly, and it does have some rigidity to it that I really don't have issues with like things pressing down on the caps. And I kind of like this because it lets me, like, I've got my, you know, I've got my hybrid in there, I've got my, you know, dealio for my laptop cover there so I don't press my keys, the key bridge. And it's even got this little top snap area that you can unsnap that I can keep one of those little baby, you know, bird cables in there. So as far as it being a kit for, you know, if you're looking to be fancy and, you know, night out on the town, but you got to bring your keyboard out, like, it's a cute little clutch, I guess is what you would call this. It doesn't have a handle, but it's, you know, yeah, it fits everything you need and nothing you don't. Now, it doesn't fit your tablet or whatever, so, you know, but like, just for that, it's kind of nice. And it's, you know, again, pretty close to the, you know, dimensions of the HHKB, but it will fit a hybrid, it'll fit a classic, it'll fit a Pro 1 or Pro 2. And let's see, what are we at here? This thing is at 13.5 or 12.5 on the nose. So by 5.5 by 2, yeah. All right. So I think that's all the ones that I have that are they're the ones sourced from, like, the Japanese store. The US store, I'm sure you've seen if you've gone to, what is it, Fujitsu Scanner Store, are these guys. And I will say, I don't super care for these. Hey, what's up, Miguel Fernando 96? Or Mig Fernando, sorry. I don't know why I added that extra longevity to your name there, but what's up, Mig? So, I've been going over a bunch of bags and stuff. Just went over, like, the kind of the span of the various, like, bird and Japanese source bags. But I got yeah, so now we're gonna go to the US store ones. And I'm not a super fan of most of the US parts with the exception of their dust covers. And now I shouldn't knock it because it's great if you're, like, storing a keyboard because it is sturdy, it's, you know, it has no give, like, it's burly. But for as burly as it is, it just doesn't do everything I want it to do. Now I've got, you know, it's a Pro 2 in here, and again, I do like this, so I shouldn't knock all the US store stuff. Like, their dust cover, in my opinion, is the superior dust cover. But, like, for what all, you know, you lose a lot of space in this thing. Like, this, like, formed cutout is nice, but it really only works, like, it doesn't really work with a lot of other people's stuff. Now, this is the one time I will say the fact that they're, yeah, you just throw it in your bag. I mean, that's what's great about them, is they are so hardcore. Like, they just put up with it. I carried mine around just literally throwing it in my bag for the first couple years till I got, like, a decent dust cover for it and my gun sock and stuff. But, like, yeah, so this thing, I mean, this is the one time I will say that I like the US-made wrist rest. Because otherwise, I mean, it's just an Orca. In fact, I've got here, I've got some Orcas out. So it's, yeah, these are the US ones, and they come in various colors. They're cute, but they don't, like, here. I was going to talk about wrist rest later, but since I've got it out, I might as well just show you that. So they don't exactly line up with the front of the HHKB. It's built for a 60%. So if I, like, you know, register one side to it, you've got this overhang. And if you don't and center it, then it just looks like so. So let me grab, so I've got a couple others out right now. Yeah, so here's, like, you know, here's a bird wrist rest. And this is the one that I use every day, so it's got, like, you know, my little Jason oil stains on it and stuff, but like, that is perfect. Like, it is very close. Well, so that's the thing, is it wasn't a design choice, and I'll show you why. These are built to fit a 60% and not an HHKB, because despite that right there, these are not intended for an HHKB, they're intended for a 60%. So, like, look at the cutouts, the foot tabs, the lines on this. Like, I want you to remember this, because I'm going to take that away. I'm going to put this here. And it's an Orca. That's who makes these. So it's literally the same thing. So the US store ones are just rebranded Orca rests, which is a 60% rest. But I mean, you know, you look at the overhang. I mean, they're literally, you know, the exact same thing. And I actually have the wood grain one to really, like, illustrate the point even more. But, like, you know, it's the same thing. So that's why it's not a strange design choice. It's a design choice meant to suit 60% and not, you know, not HHKBs. And same thing with the height. And this is a Pro 2, so it's, you know, slightly shorter, but, like, if you put it up to the Pro 2, the wrist rest is actually higher than the keyboard, whereas that is not the case on these. Now, one thing, if you like, you know, a wedge, these do have a wedge profile, whereas the, you know, the ones from Bird are just, you know, it's a block. So if that bothers you, you know, you like a wedge, then the US one may be more suited to you. But as far as suited to HHKBs, like, the height really, like, complements it well. The width fits it, so it's, you know, I like the Bird ones a lot better for, you know, for actually using with HHKBs. And mainly use these to fill out my, you know, my you know, storage cases. And that's the other reason I don't care for it, is if you don't have that in here and your keyboard is in here, like, it doesn't, I mean, it'll sit in there, but it's not as snug as it should be. There's all this empty room under it. It just, like, it doesn't feel right. So, like, for it to truly, you know, fit together well, like, having that in there actually makes the keyboard stay where it's supposed to be. So it's yeah, I mean, it's you know, design decisions, and I understand, like, for, you know, people want to keep their boards from getting beat up and stuff, like, this is a great case. But I wouldn't carry it around. And again, I wouldn't carry it around because this is your strap. Like, they could have done a lot better, and this is what they give you. So you could, like, clip it onto your luggage or whatever, but it's not, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of these. And yeah, I think I got another one out as well, because I was going to do that little Orca illustration, I think, with this one. Because, yeah, this one, and, you know, and it's got that little cable niche, so that's nice. Like, if you have, like, a long-ass cable, it's got a little added room there. But, yeah, so this is, you know, the HHKB branded, and this is the, you know, the Orca branded. So it's like, it's literally like, it's, you know, I mean, cut from a different tree, but it's the same dang thing. So I'm not, I mean, you know, I understand why they did it, because they could get it, you know, probably a lot cheaper, and, you know, maybe Bird has a, you know, Japan market only thing or whatever, but like, yeah, I'm not I don't know, I'm not the biggest fan of the US aftermarket stuff, other than, you know, other than the dust covers. Now, there actually is one more. Let me see if I can make this thing work here. Where is it? Yeah, so let's see. All right. So yeah, so there is this one right here, which actually I don't have yet. And so this one, I mean, it's, you know, I don't know who makes this, but it looks like, you know, your standard keyboard sleeve. It does have this nice little HHKB embroidery. It's got a little, you know, nice little red in the inside of it. But again, it's not. I'm not the biggest fan of, you know, these style of, like, you know, what are you hanging that off of? Like, what is that even for? Is that to pull? Like, I don't know. So I'm not thinking that this is going to be like my be all end all case by any stretch. But it is another option. So, you know, it's something to look at. Yeah, I'll catch you later, Tato. Good to see you. Sorry, I'm just catching up on messages. Which reminds me, you need to go to Yahoo Auction hunting for a JP HHKB. Yeah, that's definitely the way to get them. Well, I mean, for one, because I don't think the U.S. store sells JP, but yeah, I've gotten some good deals on the Yahoo auction for sure. And your other question, have I by any chance tried the Unreal Force? I have not yet. I've used his components, but I've not tried any boards he's designed. So, no, I think I've still got some time to go, because I've got a couple other things I want to go over in Echo. So yeah, if you make it back, I'll see you soon. But what do I think of the HHKB tablet phone? Are you talking about like the tablet phone carrier? Because I've got one out, and I can actually show you that. So that's, oh, and let me get this. Yeah, the stand. Okay, let me get this crap off my screen. I forgot. Yeah. So I have one of those right here, and I think it's pretty great. I mean, for one, it's got some sturdiness to its hinges, and so it can actually hold like I'll show you my work setup. And for folks who joined late, I kind of started the stream by showing off my, you know, this is my daily carry bike around town bag. And in this bag, I carry, you know, I've got an HHKB in the gun sock right there. I do carry one of those tablet stands along with like the little shorty bird cables that I like. But this is my, you know, this is the tablet that I'm usually using. And so it's a Lenovo. It's nothing like, you know, it's nothing too special. I don't remember what the dimensions on this thing are, but like let me make sure there's nothing too terrible on my notifications here. Jesus, I got a lot of notifications. I gotta clear this shit out. Oh, come on. Alright, anyways, but yeah, so this is what I've been using for my tablet, and it works pretty well. Like, you know, it sits in there really nice, kind of get the angle right, it holds it up off the desk. And oftentimes, depending on what board I'm using, I'm either connecting to it with, you know, with an HHKB wirelessly, you know, like so, or if it's an HHKB that doesn't have wireless, then I'll use, you know, one of these little, you know, these shorty bird cables, which I've been talking about. And these fit, you know, they fit really well in the back there. They plug directly into the tablet. And then I have a direct connect keyboard that I can mess with. And same thing with laptops. I just, because I'm a cyclist and I am klutzy, I crash my bikes a lot and stuff. And I don't, so I try not to carry my laptop around unless I'm like on call for work and then I'm very ginger with it and shit. But like, most of the time I'm just carrying a cheapo, you know, a couple hundred, you know, $200 tablet. So that if I do crash and break something, I'm not, you know, I'm not crying about it. But, yeah, so that's, the stand is solid. Now it is, you know, it's limited in, like, how high you can go with it. And you can definitely, like, if you just want more stability down on the table, you can kind of lean it out like this to, you know, to put it on. I think past like about that point or so, it gets a little bit top heavy and can start to tip. But it works great. And yeah, for phones, I mean, I've got, you know, got my crappy Samsung A10. You know, it sits in there real well. Like, it's good for, you know, I've got an OtterBox case on there, and like the bite here. These are a little flexible, so if you're like setting something that does, you know, it still gives it, you know, holds the weight without losing it. So they're not bad. Let me just get my crap off the desk real quick. So yeah, so that's all of the you know, the cases that I have that I guess, you know, have been officially released. But I do have a stack of cases aftermarket that are kind of nice. So they go from, you know, kind of the cheap end to the expensive end. But here, let me pull out a few things that I just kind of want to show off. Now this one here, this is my bargain leader for stock. And here, I got a Pro 2 in here right now, but I'll show, you know, you can, I believe you can fit yeah, you can fit a hybrid in there, no problem. This is a MIDI controller, I believe, either like a keyboard or MIDI controller case. And it's, dude, I love these things because they've got rigidity to them. Now they do come with like 2 sets of this foam. I usually take 1 set out because, you know, it doesn't like press down on the keys, but it just gives it a little bit more cush on the top. But yeah, it you know, they come with the foam in both sides, so you can just kind of pull that crap out and, you know, use it for your keyboard. But it's, you know, clears all the dimensions. It really doesn't give you extra room for, you know, anything else. But it's, I mean, it's a sturdy case. So for like protection, this thing is great. And like you can here, let me do the pop-up thing again. So like, yeah, there it is on Amazon for like, you know, 22 bucks. So as far as the price for cases go, it's not too bad. But it's this, what, Conca hard travel case for a Newmark. Yeah, exactly. What's up, Kiko? Good to see you. So it's, you know, it's great for that. Get that crap off of there. So, you know, and I keep a Pro 2. This is my angry board that I keep in that one. So it's like, you know, I feel like if I really get angry and like, you know, knock this thing off of something in like a fit of rage, then at least I've got some, you know, rigidity to it. It's not gonna get beat up. Oh man, and I just realized I haven't been taking my measurements. So let me get back to my spreadsheet. Yeah, I didn't take the measurements on the big one, but I'm not gonna fuck with it right now. So this is the aftermarket. So let's see, MIDI controller. Yeah, no, grab your coffee. I'm like at the like bottom quarter of mine, so I may grab something else once I get through that. But yeah, now get your coffee. All right, so this is 13 inches wide by. I'm gonna go without the handle, and that is, what is that? That is 5 1/4. And then the depth of it is about, yep, 2 1/4. All right. So this is one that I would say is kind of a bit of a hybrid that like you could fit this in your backpack just because it doesn't add a ton of bulk, but it's also got a nice little handle for carry. Like it's a good one. Another one similar to that, but not quite, is this one from Ringer Keys, and I guess it's what, Eternus X Ringer Keys collab. And I bought this one recently just to test out, and I've actually been carrying my my snipe in this one. And this is another one that like it was initially meant for 40%, and so it comes with some foam. Oh, get out of there. Yeah, so it comes with like some foam. I left the piece of foam on the bottom, but it comes with like a ring of foam around here, and it comes with some inserts. So it's meant for smaller boards, but for, you know, your stock, you know, stock HHKB fits in it just fine. Snipe, which isn't too much bigger than your, you know, standard HHKB, fits in there fairly well as well. So I've been using this one to carry, or keep my snipe when I'm not using it. And again, it's it does have some texture on the corners, so I might be making a mistake keeping my PC in here if this does rub. But it's it's got the nice little Velcro that I can loosely put over there. It does, if you had extra stuff to carry, you could throw some stuff in there. Yeah, no, this one's nice. And this is I got this off the Ringer Keys site. So if you're looking for one of these, I mean, it's pretty good. It holds it in there well. Like, the straps keep it from being too jostling. And again, it's got a handle, so if you're just like you got your laptop in your bag and you just want to grab a keyboard and get out the door, it's a nice option there. So that one was from Ringer Keys, and I feel like it's a good, like, as far as like form and function while being compact, this is probably one of the better options. And so that's 12.5. And HHKB and the Bird Bridge. Yeah, Pajamo. Give me just a second. I will show you that. Okay, by 6 inches. Sorry, I just want to take these measurements while I still got it out. By, what is that, 2.75. Okay. So that one's a bit deeper than the other ones, which I'm not surprised since it's got that little zipper, compartment on top. But yeah, it's not so bad. All right. So now your question, is there one that fits the HHKB and the bridge? Yeah, and I can show you that. There's actually I just had this one out. So this is an official Bird one, and it's not really a bag, but it's more of just like a case or a clutch. But I keep my bridge in with this, and it's like the bag's actually designed to like fit everything. So I've got the bridge in there, I've got the keyboard in there, I've got my, cable in there, and this is a really cool. Now, these are expensive from the Japanese store, but like, they're from Bird, and they're kind of, they're designed, and I think even on the site they're sold as a kit. So you get, one of these, you get a dust cover. I found I don't really need the dust cover in this, just because the rigidity of the case, keeps it from like, pressing down on, the caps, unless I'm like, there's something resting on it. But like for how I use it, it works fine. Yeah, so that's a neat one. Now they come in this color. They come in kind of a beige. It's like a faux leather. But I can also, let me trying to remember which of these has the yeah. So I mean, so if you did get the dust cover, because this is one of the the Bird dust covers as well. I just want to see if it still fits comfortably in there with everything. Oh yeah, so that slides right in there. Well, it does bow just a little bit on there, so maybe you wouldn't want to carry it with the complete stack in there, just because that does add some height above the keys. But yeah, I don't think you really need to. Oh, that's a bummer, MySpace. When I bought it, they sold it separately, but maybe they're running low and have decided to only like offer a package deal or something, which, if that's the case, is kind of a bummer. Alright, so aftermarket. I've got a couple more that are kind of interesting that I wanted to show off. Now, yeah, was there another question? D6 recommended this sleeve for HHKB and 60 in the US. Ooh, that is a nice one. Yeah, let's that's really pretty. Okay. So I've not looked at those, but I do think I remember seeing it posted, and that's like what, $60 about. So yeah, I like that canvas. Those are super cool. How many Topre boards do I have, or how many HHKB boards do I have? If we'll just limit it to HHKB, I believe I am currently at 42 or 43. And Topre boards adds more to that. So let's just say a lot. Yeah. One for every week of the year, at least, I would say. All right. So other aftermarket stuff. Now, I just showed you off my favorite, the Bird design, this little kind of satchel. Like, I love these things. This one was interesting. I saw this, and I'm like, oh man, is that the Bird design? Whatever the blah, blah, blah. And it ain't. So this was like the bird satchel you buy on Wish. You know, it's got this like, you know, fake leather guys. Now it's the same dimensions, and they do add some interesting features. So like this one comes with, you know, came with little straps, so I could like carry this around with me. It does have the little luggage, like, you know, you could strap if you're, you know, jet setting, HHK being on the go. And it does have, you know, it has the, you know, the space up here, but it's just, if you look at it, overall quality is not as great. But it's still, you know, it's capacity wise. I mean, this is actually, I think this might be the one the one build that's not an HHKB or, you know, EC compatible that I'll show you. But this is my old, you know, Rama M60A that is all scratched up and ugly. It sits in here. But yeah, I'm gonna put that away because it, you know, if you see the one with the leather, like, it's okay, but you would be better served buying the, you know, buying the official, the actual product. This thing is just such a better made product. So I did want to show that off just because it's, you know, it's an interesting option out there, and I do see it on some of the stores, but I'm not super keen on those. Now, on the far end of the, like, you know, I want to protect my board. I have a freaking expensive board and I want to take care of it. The sleeve is made in the US, which explains the price. Yeah, no, the Modern Coup sleeve is really cool. So I like these. I think this was from Omni. And it's the Maikibo one, or Mecha Kibodo. I can't even read that. But yeah, so these are nice. And these, you know, they have the most sturdy freaking handle I think any of these things have. They got the, you know, cute little Omni type, you know, you know, key, you know, little zipper pulls. Like these, I don't remember what I paid for these, maybe like $30, but I feel like they're, you know, their quality are good, man. They're nice. So this one, these are what I use for my heavy grills and for my big boy stuff, because they do a great job of fitting it. You know, again, they have the little, you know, the poles. Here, let me turn this around. They don't have the top zipper, but they really have this like sturdy foam up top. And the way that, you know, these are kind of built to be sized to your keyboard. And so they come with these extra, and there's like, you know, comes with, I think there's 3 different thicknesses, and it comes with 2 of each piece. So you can like adjust how deep your keyboard goes into this thing from the sides, which is really cool. So it holds it in there very nicely. And yeah, you can, you know, I use the hell out of this thing, so you can definitely see like the scratches and stuff in it. It's not it's Veracity, but it's not, you know, it's not perfect anymore. I mean, you can see where I've dinged the hell out of this fucking thing. So this is my D's Nuts stock, and you get fingerprints all over it. I love these boards, but man, if you expect it to be like mirror forever, don't use it. Just put it away. But yeah, the fit of these things, like, it hugs the HG perfectly. Like, there's no, you know, there's like no wiggle room in this thing. I mean, it is, if I was gonna like lovingly swaddle my heavy grails, this is the way I recommend doing it. So yeah, these things are nice. Now they are heftier and bigger than just about everyone else's. So let me get back to my my spreadsheet here. And what are we at? The width on this is, oh yeah, we're at 15.25 inches. So this is the Omni keys. 60. And this is, what did I say, 15.25. And that is our widest by a full half inch. And the next widest is the gun sock, which I don't really count because it kind of like, you know, conforms to your keyboard and shortens up. Alright. By 7.75 tall. So again, this one is the tallest by a full inch. By, what was that, 3, and on the nose, 3. So the only thing taller is a loaded bird satchel. So yeah, this is That's our big boy right there. But it does the job. So like if you wanted something to protect your keyboards, this thing is the shit. Now I've got a couple honorable mentions. One of them, and I love this thing. It's not the greatest, but it's pretty great. Neverest, Desk Keys, when he shipped the Neverest 60s and Neverest 19s, he sent them with these awesome little like felted lined, liners here. To, well, for one, to keep the board from getting scratched up, but like you can still use them to like fit a keyboard. Now it's a little bit snug, but like for the Neverest 60 with stock, caps, I can still put my, my faithful, and I probably have like 20 of these freaking dust covers. But it just like, here. Oh yeah, and it does have a little, I think, it's got a little thing in here, but like just for keeping it in my closet, for keeping it from getting, scuffed up and stuff, it holds it. So it keeps it in there. The top folds over. So, I mean, for a little, I guess I shouldn't say freebie because you do have to buy the keyboard, but like, it's nice that they included just a little guy to hold him when he's not in use. So that's cute. Give him points for that. I will say that the show has probably like impressed me the most with his with one of his kind of like aftermarket housings, and it's not an HHKB, but since I'm going over things, might as well grab one of these two. And these are nice. This came with his S23. This is actually what the S23 shipped in. And for, a freebie, I'd like to find out what these cases are, because for the aftermarket numpads, like, it fits them great. It does have like this little, if you want to do that, I mean, it doesn't really like press my springs, but I don't also feel like it doesn't like do a lot to hold it in there. So I don't really bother. But yeah, these are like super cool. So, sorry for breaking away from the HHKB bit, but we'll go back. So gonna give the Chono shout out. I got this one from him. Not sure who he had made it, but like if you're gonna have a taupe sleeve, you gotta go with the tauprine. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is how we do it around here. Yeah, exactly. This is, that keeps it real. So yeah, again, this is one. Oh, yep. So this is another one of the bird ones, and I am missing a foot on this one, of course, because you just can't have one of these and keep all 4 feet. So yeah. But yeah, this was my carry board for the longest time. This guy lived in a gun sock. They've got the 60 gram carrots in this thing, and this was my carry board for the longest time till I actually got the the blank Japanese and traded up for that. But yeah, for toting one of these things, like the sleeve is pretty nice. Oh, badass. I did not realize it was the same guy. Okay, yeah. And so, it's got good... doesn't have, like, the fold-over or anything, but it does, a decent job of just holding everything in there. And I like the tauprine bag, even though, I think this is probably a 1 of 1. Go ahead and get the bag measurement off of this. And I am just realizing that I did not take measurements on several of those other bags, so I'll go back when I'm not on stream and get that figured out. But, so my tauprine bag is 13 long by right on 6 wide, and loaded. I expect my actually this one's just over 2 inches because I guess it's a little puffy. So 2.125. Yeah, okay, I'll go with that. All right. So yeah, I love this one. Like, the sleeve is super cool. I mean, I haven't taken it out to a coffee shop, so I haven't, like, embarrassed myself with it. Some guy in his Supreme hat and jacket and brick walks up to me and clubs me with his brick because I'm, ripping off their steez or whatever. But yeah, it's cool. Oh, and I figured while I was talking about the Neverest ones, they did the same thing with their Neverest 19. And I've only put it in here for just a moment because you can see why. This one is a little tight, and so, since I don't have a dust cover or anything on it, it does push down on the caps. So I don't keep them in there, but if I had like, you know, the right profile keycaps on here, it probably wouldn't have that issue. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it out just because I don't want to keep doing that on my, you know, 35 gram carrots. Oh yeah, and finally, I think this is the last bag in my bag pile currently. But you know it, you love it, you can't live without it, unless you were, you know, getting fulfillment by Sam, and then you kind of had to live without it. The cold top bag, and you know, it's not a carry bag for the most part, but it's the second bag that I use for my heavy grills because it fits them well. And so yeah, here's one of my, I think this was like the second or third heavy grill I built. This is my, you know, pink with 55 grams. So I want it to look marshmallowy but feel thick. So this is these are probably my most used domes because they were the domes that I originally put in that HHKB BT that I showed off earlier in the stream, and that was my carry board for like 3 years, and so I typed on those things every day. But yeah, so this is, you know, this is a nice one. I'm sure y'all have seen these. I mean, it's got the, you know, I don't know what his name, if you know, the character has a name or what, but you know, they're badass. You could get them with or without the little, you know, pocket. I actually bought 2 of them with the pocket, and I was shipped one with and one without, so I contacted him, and I was like, yo, you didn't put the pocket in one of mine, and he just sent me another one, so now I have like 3 of these freaking bags. So yeah, but again, you know, I got another one of those little, the bird cables. Like I got probably a dozen of these things just because I carry them around with my boards, and you know, I like having them available. So Toppy, oh my god, his name is Toppy, the cold top feller. That's freaking adorable. I can't handle that. Toppy, that's too cute. All right, I'm into it. Yeah, I'll bet he's a Toppy. Look at that guy. So yeah, so those are, you know. Hey, what's up, Crypto Force? Sorry to say you're joining at probably the end of my bag demo. Oh yeah, and I was gonna take the measurement off of this bag into my bag demo, but I just went through and showed literally. I mean, yeah, these guys say I have a million bags. I just kind of like demoed every HHKB bag I could think of. Oh Jesus! Almost threw my this guy on the ground. That would have been ugly. But like, yeah, no, I got bags, dude. I got bags and bags. So we just went through, kind of went through a little, you know, show and tell of all the bags. But I will say at this point, like, if anybody has questions about the bags or fitment or, you know, now's your time. So I have a stack of like 20 freaking bags and pretty much every keyboard that's been released. With the exception of the EVERY, because, you know, fuck that guy. But, which one's the pièce de résistance? Like, I mean, you know, as far as I'm concerned, you want the pièce de résistance. It's the gun sock, bro. I love the gun sock. I cannot do without the gun sock. Like, all those bags, I've got, you know, stacks and stacks of bags. 95% of the time, I'm carrying my keyboard in this. Yeah, pour one out for Gondat, dude. He Gondat. And by pour one out, I mean drink it, because I ain't pouring out shit for that guy. Though on that topic, I need to switch to something else. I'll be right back. Oh, right. Yeah, so this was, I was showing off, yeah, I mean, I guess I can, you know, since we're, yeah. That's a good one. Shoot, let me get the, before I do that, let me get the cold top measurements before I forget. Hold on. But yes, I do have that one actually, and I have it close by, so I don't even have to go run to the other room to get it. All right, that is 13 1/4 by 6 1/8. by, and I guess I should note in here that this is with a heavy grail in it. I'm sure it's not as bulky with a just an HHKB. So what is that? That is, I'll call it 2.5. All right. Yeah, so that is the Allen knit sock. This was a Ruger branded one, but it's the same, it's the same thing. In fact, here, there you go. Allen, made in the US of A. So, I like the Allen ones. I mean, I figure they're like, you can get them from like $6 to $10 depending on if you want the branding or not. There are cheaper options. I know there's like a pack of 6 of them you can get for fairly cheap, but hey, when I can buy the made in USA, it's not that bad. And they really do the trick. Like this is how I've carried my boards around for years now in backpacks and sling bags, and it's between the US dust cover, just the quality of the board itself. I mean, it's plastic doesn't seem to get dinged up as much as like my metal boards, and the gun sock, like this thing is pretty solid. So yeah, I like it a lot. Now it's plus when you're in the coffee shop and you're pulling out your Ruger and then you like bust out your keyboard and sit there like a fucking nerd and do Discord shit, like, yeah, whatever. But yeah, the pièce de résistance, the cream of the crop, the covered in cat hair, and I apologize. So the key brief, and this is not an HHKB. So I wasn't thinking about bringing this one out, and it is covered in cat hair. Like I had this on a desk and I had my cat laying on it, so I really need to go over it. But this is the one. Oh, bummer. Are they out? MySpace, you just said both the Allen and Ruger socks are sold out on Amazon. Well, that's crummy. I mean, I'm sure they can be found elsewhere. But yeah, it's the pistol one, which I think they put the length as like 15 inches or whatever. But it's, yeah, I mean, they got to be around somewhere. Yeah, no, if it didn't ship with hair. I mean, look at Norbauer. How much does he have to spare? But it's nice. And so I got it with, this little guy because, and I always got that thing on me. I got to do some calculating. And I can't do that on a TKL, so I got to bust that out. And again, simplify your life. I'm telling y'all, simplify your life. Get these cables. They are sick. Oh, Amazon Canada. Does that ship to the US? Is that a thing? I don't know. All right. And then yeah, of course, you got the big one cuz god, like look at this. I love the, the purple. This is just so nice. Again, this has, it's a zippered compartment, so it's not even Velcro, but it's a zipper to fuck your shit up. I got my little cable up stacked in there. Like, yeah, it's nice. And then, of course, since this board does not see the light of day nearly often enough, I might as well just bust it out. This is the KBD fans BIP 2048 or whatever they're called. And they're, not all the most straightest keys, but I think it looks nice. I like it with the VHS. So yeah, so those are my bags. And I would say of them all, my favorites, I can probably give you like, a quick, order of favorites. And I will say like gun sock, it's definitely not for everyone. But I like the gun sock. I mean, for what I do with my keyboards and how I carry them around, the gun sock is what's up. I would say probably, second place for a lot of use cases. I really love these. And this is the, kind of the old bird satchel style that has, it's got the right combination of, it's not that big, like for as much stuff as I can cram in one of these, it's really not a big bag. The accessory pouch, I mean, I was telling y'all, like, here, I can, get all my crap out of there. But, like, if you were wanting to, you could take, one of the wrist rests. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. Like, the stock wrist rest and just drop it on in there. And still fit, like, your Lindy cable. Like, it's really nice, like, the crap that you can put in this thing. So, like, I really, just for like those kind of purposes, like, this thing is nice. Now it is a bit bulky. Like I used to like load this thing up and then put this in one of my other bags, and it does add a little bit too much bulk. Like it's not great to like throw in a backpack, but just for this, you know, it's about as little as it can be while giving you like everything you need. And so I'm a huge fan of these. They definitely are on the list. Now, if you're just looking for like inexpensive protection, and you don't have a board that's, you know, any bigger than like your actual Pro 2s, then that mini case that I showed you, like, I think when I first started buying these things, they were like 12 bucks and they went up to 16. Now they're like 21 because inflation's a sumbitch. But like these are, you know, it's a hard case, so it has, you know, there's no, you know, I mean, I wouldn't sit on it, but like, you know, you can stack these things and it not have a problem. And yeah, it, you know, it fits great. It allows you, you know, it's got enough, you know, header space here that you can put a hybrid in there. So yeah, so that one, you know, I really like those. I can't say I like the US released ones. You know, obviously everyone loves Cold Top, so just for a sleeve, that thing's great. And then for the, you know, just for the maximum protection, these Omni types are just incredible. And if you weren't, you know, if you weren't here to see that, I mean, yeah, there's just so much like this, and it's not cheap foam. It's not like, you know, this is the solid stuff. Like this is like, you could probably throw this thing and your keyboard would be okay. So I mean, I really like those. So that's just kind of a rundown of cases. I just wanted to kind of, you know, give that, you know, show that off, because I know there's been a lot of questions about them, and, you know, we can, you know, VOD this thing. So if anybody does have any questions that I didn't answer, obviously hit me up on the, you know, hit me up on the Discords. But I think that's it for the cases. I did have a, let's see, one more just quick overview while we're going over things. I thought it'd be fun just to, you know, look at a few wrist rests. So, like I was saying earlier in the stream, if you're buying a US wrist rest, like if you're buying a wrist rest from the US store, you're buying in Orcas. You know, dimension-wise, cutouts, the feet, the angle, I mean, literally everything about them, it's an Orcas. So if you're good with that, if you like that, you know, buy them. They're awesome. But let me, you know, I'm gonna set these off to maybe this side here. But, you know that when you're using them, they don't quite line up with the dimensions of the HHKB. So for instance, you can kind of see how it overhangs on the side, and if I square it up, you know, it overhangs considerably because it's designed as a 60% rest, not as an HHKB rest. Whereas, you know, the ones from Bird are custom built as an HHKB rest, and as you can see, I mean, they line up perfectly. I don't think I can really, I can't really demonstrate the stack height, but like, you know, when they're setting, you know, level, they're like really complementary angled and, you know, height to the front of the board. So I like these a lot better. As well as like this one's a leather topped one, which is pretty nice. So, you know, just the feel of that. I mean, I don't know. I like natural things, so I do like the wood. I like the grain, but you know, it's like when you put these together, I mean, you can see the, you know, there's a considerable, you know, difference in length. And I apologize, I cut myself earlier, and my Band-Aid's starting to take a walk, but I'm not bleeding anymore, so I think I'll be good. All right. So yeah, so the Bird rests, I mean, and as well as, you know, if you look at the height of these things, like, you know, you can see how much of an extra lip there is on the, you know, on the Orca sourced rest. And so that also translates to, you know, being slightly, ever so slightly above the lip of the front of the keyboard. So it's not, you know, if those things don't bother you, it's solid. It has a nice angle. And that is the one other thing that if you didn't notice on the Bird ones are flat, like they're flat profile, whereas the, you know, the Orcas are at this angle. So I've used this with other keyboards. It works great, but like just for my HHKBs, and maybe it's just a personal thing, I really dig the how that all lines up. So I go with the Bird ones. If you can get them, I mean, you can buy them through Buy. You can find them online sometimes. That unfortunately they don't sell them in the U.S. store, so that's kind of the negative of them is they're not as easy to get for us folks over here. But they do make some other cool stuff. So these are great, and these are from Bird as well. And they're just these little separate ones, but dimension-wise, it's pretty much the exact same thing as all their other ones. So, the height of them, if you consider like the corner radius in the bottom, it's pretty, I guess it's not quite the same. So yeah, a little bit different. But like, as far as like the height, the, the level of them and such, like they're pretty similar, and obviously the width can be whatever you want. But they're designed for if you're running like a Magic trackpad in the middle or whatever, you just, and so they can be as as close to your keyboard as you want to, and they're comfy. If you're typing like this usually, then it's not so bad. So yeah, so they're and they do have different size feet. So if you want to kind of shorten those up, you can shorten those up as well. And they come, you've got the the walnut, and I don't remember what this other wood was, but you've got so if you wanted to go a lighter one. And they say Bird on one side, HHP on the other. So again, if you don't want to advertise, one says, okay, interesting. I just noticed this. So these, come on, these are the older ones that I bought that they first released. They have HHKB on one side and Bird Electron on the other. So you are never without a logo. These, however, have Bird on one, HHKB on the other, and nothing on the other. So if you just wanted to have, blank, no logo, you could buy these. Just put the feet on the other side, obviously, and then you wouldn't have to like be looking at advertising all the time. So, yeah, those are pretty cool. Like everything else, Bird, they come with extra feet. The case and everything. I mean, it's their attention to detail is always appreciated. Now, I did buy another couple, I've tried some other 60% to varying quality. So this one actually fits the HHKB really well. And it has, nice little anti-skid feet. And I don't remember where I got these. This one is, again, this is more of like that Orca that, a true 60% overhangs. And it's cute, so I've kind of enjoyed some of these, like, wood, resin, combo things. Like, they're neat. But those are entirely aftermarket. That's not anything that any of the companies has actually sold. Now, this is one that is a Bird one, which I bought it, and it's gorgeous. And again, it has these little round feet. But unfortunately, it's slightly warped. So when I use it, it's got this wiggle. And so as nice as this one is, yeah, I don't know if it's because of how they use the two woods or what the deal is, but it's got just that little bit of wiggle there. So maybe if you do buy one of these, you'll get a nicer one. But this, it started doing this within a couple months. I probably should have, but I bought it through Buy, through the PFU store, so I figured any kind of returns would be a pain in the ass. And I mean, I could probably I don't know what I could do to fix that. Put a shim on one of the feet or something just to make it level out. But yeah, even when I put it up to the board and try to level it out, you can tell this side is bowing up. So it's, yeah, I'm not the happiest with the results on this one. But I've not had any other problem with the Bird. Oh, and these are always cute. So, they show off their other products. So how everything works together. So it's the old school transporter, the bridge. You can tell this was released in the Pro 2 era because it's the Pro 2 matte. Or no, it's not, because that's got a bump on it. So, oh yeah, no, that does have the cuts for that. Never mind, this is the newer one. Yeah, so it's got the USB-C. So it's it shows off all their little, and then shows you how to attach the feet. So it's cute. I like their stuff. Unfortunately, I didn't have good luck with that wrist rest. And then, yeah, just a few more. So this was the original HHKB wrist rest. And this came out around the same time as that kind of like money bag looking case that was like Pro 1 era. So this wrist rest, which I've been using quite a bit lately, and it's nice. It's got a good, it's got a good feel. I mean, it's old school, but it's contemporary with that, like, the money bag style happy hacking bag. So this is, if you wanted to be real fancy, I mean, you could go like, Pro 1 setup and, bust out your boy and bust out this thing and keep all your gear and your, fancy happy hacking money bag, and then you're fly. So I like having this gear. I don't use my Pro 1s all that often just because I don't have a different controller board for them, and so I don't have much mini USB, and I like to be able to program my shit. But yeah, I mean, it's it's definitely a honored part of my collection that I get to have the old school bag, the old school wrist rest that has definitely seen its days under the sweaty salaryman palms. And yeah, I've been I go with the more modern, typically the which is also leather topped on rosewood, but the more recent bird leather rest, and I like that one a whole lot. And then finally, of course, and this one is initially aftermarket, though looks like our good friends at PFU are now selling them through the PFU Direct store. But this is the Happy Hacking Keyboard, super cool palm rest from Mitsuba. And first off, I absolutely love this box. Like, it's got his little logo on there, which you're gonna see again. But like, just the box is so nice. And when you pull it and you first see that board, like, dude, it's irresistible. And it's, and as far as wrist rests go, like, this is, in my opinion, the cream of the crop. And it comes with, it comes with little instructions. It comes with a little dealio on the thing here. It even comes with your, beeswax for finishing it. So it's a cool kit. Now this one, I actually got this again from Chono, and he had modified it with a little bit extra standoff so that it would fit over a set of Hypro caps. But the stock one, it doesn't come with those. It comes with just these little, like, short, kind of, a little bit flimsy feet. But it's still, they're nice. Like, it's not, I don't know. Here, I'll get out one that actually isn't modded. So yeah, it's just got these little, pads on here. And they really don't add a lot of height, but it's just enough that, like, when you put it on your board, it sits over it. And this is what sets these wrist rests apart from all others, in my opinion, is that you can take it, and when you're not using it as a wrist rest, it fits as a dust cover. And when I say it fits, it's like it was designed for these, because it fits perfectly. Like, the dimensions of it are exactly the dimensions, come on camera, of the HHKB all the way around. It fits, like, the cutout here, and there's your logo again. It's cut, and it, it's even beveled on the sides here, so it doesn't touch the caps at all. And in fact, it even has this, you see that ridge right there in the front that's cut, and it's cut like that far. That's so that if people run a flipped bottom row, it still allows it to sit over it without interfering with that top edge that then becomes this, like, projecting front edge. So they even thought about people who run it, I think they call it eccentric style or maniac style, like when you do the Google Translate from their website. But yeah, it's such a well thought out design. It's gorgeous. Again, it's it lines up perfectly. The front just, like, transitions perfectly. It does have a, a little bit of that, angle right there. But, like, the texture of this top under your palms is just incredible. So, yeah, if you've got, a keyboard worth of money burning a hole in your pocket and don't want to buy a keyboard, these are very, very nice. And you can get them through the PFU store. I got mine, I guess maybe a year and a half ago or so. And at the time, I just I just reached out directly to Mitsuba, and kind of back and forth, and I used Google Translate for the first couple emails back and forth, and then he took kind pity on me and started speaking to me in English. So I was able to, with I think 5 or 6 back and forth transactions, I bought a pair of them, and the shipping was super cheap, and like the way he did it, it was a really pleasant experience. And he even like sent me picture updates of my thing. So it's like, yeah, it was nice. I really enjoy working with craftsmen. So yeah, this thing it's beautiful. It really, even though I probably have this one on my desk more often, just because I'm not as worried about banging it up, but like, yeah, the Mitsuba rests really do spend a lot of time under my palms, and for the reason that it's such a wonderful sensory experience to type on these. So yeah, I think that's, I'm probably going to wrap up the stream here just a little bit. I just, I've had a lot of people asking questions about some of the parts, some of the accessories, some of the bags, and so I just wanted to kind of give like the, shotgun approach of looking at everything. And in the, I've got another stream coming up where I'm actually going to look at the boards themselves, so we're going to do the, history of HHKB as, it sits inside the case. And tear apart a bunch of boards, but we'll save that for another day. I just want to get this one done and maybe answer some questions here. But yeah, if there's any other questions, I'll hang out for a few minutes. But if not, then we'll probably go ahead and wind this one down and start working on some lunch instead. But I just realized I grabbed my beer and I didn't even crack it. So let me get working on that. And yeah, if there's anything else you guys want to know, shout it at me now. I'm happy to grab another case and try some stuff out, but otherwise thanks for joining me here. If you're in the US, you're probably midday. If you're overseas, you're either dinner time or even later than that. But yeah, thanks for jumping in, y'all. Yeah, looks like I guess I got to everything, or you guys just being quiet and dealing with other stuff right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and shut this one down. I gotta figure out, how the heck do you raid? You know what? I don't understand how raids happen. So if you guys are one of these people who do this stuff, and can tell me how to raid, I would love to raid somebody else. Okay, so best value carrying case, yeah, I can answer that one. And that really depends on what you're looking for. So obviously, gunstock, if you can find them, are like $6 to $9, and so are great for just like a cheapo, something to throw on your keyboard, keep it from getting scuffed up, fits in your bag really easy. But if you're actually looking for a case, these here are pretty nice, and I think I was showing it off earlier. Hold on, I've got let me. So it's this right here. So it's a controller case. They're like $22, but they're, it's that, Conca hard travel case for the Newmark DJ2G02. But yeah, if you look this up, or, ping me online, I can drop you the link. But it's, for the price, these things are solid and sturdy and will hold any, OEM HHKB. I've got a Pro 2 in here, but as you see, there's enough headroom that you can fit a hybrid in there as well easily. It comes with 2 pieces of these foam. I typically only use one of them on top, but like for $20 and for being able to buy these all day on Amazon, like that's a pretty good keyboard case right there. Yeah, otherwise, like, I really like these cases, but these are more, I think they were like $35 if you buy them from, Japan, or I see them go for like $65 to $80 on eBay. And these are one of the, the earlier Bird Electronic ones, and it's like that satchel style. So you're paying a little bit more for that, but like functionality is nice. You can carry, it's got a lot of space up front. In fact, it's even got enough space, you can stick your wrist rest in there if you wanted to carry a wrist rest with you, or, cables, or if you've got the, the HHKB tablet stand, that fits in there really well. So this one is really great for that. So those are probably my, my top 3 as far as, if you want lots of protection, little protection, no protection. I won't say no protection because, this definitely keeps me from, you know, from scuffing the board up and banging it on other stuff. But like, yeah, depending on how much you want, like those are probably my top 3. And yeah, sorry, there's a ton of cat hair on this stuff too, but yeah, this one from Bird, this one from Alan is the maker of that, and then finally this one, which is Khanka, Khanka. So I'd say those are my 3 favorites. And of those, only this one's an actual official product. Cool. But yeah, if you know, if anything else comes up, if you guys are watching the VOD and are like, shit, man, I should have asked him that, you know where to find me. I'm on the Discords. But yeah, y'all take care. And I swear, before next stream, I'm gonna learn how to raid so I can, you know, send somebody else the, you know, my dozen visitors. But until next time, catch you later.